Okay, so in the last video, we got in our labels.csv, which is now in the data frame label CSV, and it contains image IDs, which are file names, and their breed label. And then we checked out the distribution of our breed labels, and we figured out there's about 82 or so images per class. Now, it'd be good if we could view an image inside the notebook, because this is part of our exploratory data analysis, is checking out our data. Let's do that. Let's view an image. So one way to do that is using IPython. Remember, even though we're working in Google Colab, this is still under the hood a Jupyter Notebook. So we can go from ipython.display, import image. And then we can write image, and then we just pass it a file name. And a little trick here in Colab is before we had to press Shift and Tab in a Jupyter Notebook to find the doc string. In Colab, for me, it's Command Space Shift. And then Siri comes up. So Command Shift Space. There we go. On Windows, it might be Control instead of Command. So there we go. This is our doc string here. We need to pass it some sort of data. And if we want to see it, we need to pass it a file name. Let's grab one of these image IDs. So I'll just copy that. It should be, actually, let's have a look at a dingo. See, I'm from Australia, and we're pretty famous for a story called Dingo Took My Baby. I won't go into the details of that, but you can look it up. And then if we go here, so we go drive, we need to pass it a file name, my drive, file path, sorry. And then we got our dog vision folder. Dog vision slash, it's going to be in the training folder, this, and we need to put on the end .jpeg, because if we come up to Kaggle, we can see that is actually what the file name is. That's the ID, but the full file name has the .jpg. Now let's close this bad boy and Shift and Enter. Oh, look at that. Cute little dingo. But apparently they can be savages at times. That's one way to view images in our notebook. So if we needed to explore what image we're working with while we're turning it into a tensor, we can use this little function here. Or I think there's another one with matplotlib. We can use imshow, but we'll have a look at that one later. Now we can view an image, and we've got their file IDs and their breeds. Let's get a list of all the file names, so we don't have to type out this every single time, because that would get annoying. So what we might do is write a little markdown cell here. So I'll press Command MM, change that into markdown, and go here, getting images and their labels. Let's get a list of all of our image file path names. Beautiful. And so how can we do this? So we might go here, create path names from image IDs. Now, we've just done one here. So this is a path name of this particular image. And we did it by stealing this value here from label CSV. We might bring label CSV down here just so we can have a gaze at it while we work with this. Label CSV dot head. There we go. So we might create a little variable to loop through this and create these long strings at the same time. So let's see if we can do that with a list comprehension. So file names equals, let's just go fname for fname to start with. We'll start small. In labels CSV ID, what does this return? Check the first 10. File names. Wonderful. So this is just a short little list comprehension. Basically, it's saying it's create a list of fname for fname, which is short for file name, in labels CSV.id column. So take this ID column, go through each one of them, and take the value and save it to the list. So that's what we've got there. Now we need to change it up to be a bit more like this. because these at the moment are just IDs. So what we'll do is drive my drive dog vision train. That's what we can do. Drive slash my drive slash dog vision slash train. And then it's going to be plus f name. Oh no, end of string plus f name. What does that return? I said check the first 10 here, but I've lied. I didn't put the little slice. Okay, and now we just need to add, of course, the file extension, because otherwise it wouldn't work. These are JPEGs. .jpg. How does this look? Wonderful. Okay, so now we've got a list of all the file names from the ID column of label CSV. What we should do is compare them to the number of files in our training data directory. Why would we do this? Well, this is to make sure that we've got the same amount of file names as we do actual files in our training file. We downloaded this data from Kaggle. We uploaded it to Colab, or more specifically our Dog Vision folder, and then we unzipped it. So we want to make sure that we're working with the same amount of data. So let's do that. So we go here, check whether number of file names matches number of actual image files, because otherwise, like if we just kept going now and we've worked out later on that, hey, we've got some issue with our data, then it's kind of going to undo a lot of the stuff that we've done. So that's a big point, is a lot of machine learning is just basically massaging your data into a form so that it works with machine learning, if that makes sense. So that's what we're doing now. We're just verifying that the data we've got is the right format, the right amount, and then we know once we run our machine learning models, they'll be all hunky-dory, or at least hunky-dory as possible. So we're going to import OS, and we can check the amount of files in a particular file by using list_dir. So len os list_dir. I'll just write the code, and then we'll explain it. Train, is that equal to len of file names? And if it is, print file names match actual amount of files. Proceed. It's like we're giving ourselves a little instruction here. Print file names do not match actual amount of files. Check the target directory. All right. So what this is going to do, if you do os list_dir, let's just see what this prints out. Code. Actually, I might only do the first 10 again, otherwise it'll be just spam. Name OS is not defined. Oh, that would make sense because I've got import OS there and not up here. Let's do it up here. So what this is going to do is tell Colab to, hey, go into Dog Vision train. Oh, I've just called it data. There's no file there. Stop that. By the way, if the executed code is not responding to interrupts. So if this comes up, it's because this cell is unable to stop. So these are the things you'll run into. And the reason why this is going in sort of an infinite loop is because I actually do have a folder called data, which is what this used to be. And within there is also a train folder. So it's looping through there. What I might do, can I can that? Boom, canned it. So let me just tell you what it does. OS list_dir is just going to go through a directory and then list all the files in that directory. So we're saying if the length of all the files in this drive, my drive, Dog Vision. Here's our other warning that's popped up. This is beautiful timing. So these are the actual things that you're going to run into. Go back to our keynote. Here we go. So this is a little error that you might experience if there's something going on with your Google Drive and the way that Colab is interacting with it. So the good thing is it usually fixes itself. And if you want to click this more info tab, you'll get this little paragraph of text. So basically it's saying if you have a lot of files in Google Drive in the top folder, so if we come back to Dog Vision, so in this folder here, if you have a lot of files there, Google Drive can time out, as well as if you have a lot of files within a particular folder, it can also time out. So that's very handy that we saw that in real time, because I don't want you to come across these warnings and not be sure of what to do. But if in doubt, remember, you can always just search this, ask a question. I'm sure someone will be able to help you out. If not, I'll help you out. Click the links. There's a bunch of things you can try out. Let's just run the code. We've spoken about it for too long. File names match actual amount of files. Proceed. Now, I will let you test this one out yourself. We're going to follow the orders of this code here and proceed. Okay, so everything's working. We have all the file names in a list, and we have the same amount of file names as we have actual images. Let's do one more check to make sure that we're visualizing directly from a file path. So we can go here, one more check. Remember, we want to make sure our data is in the right format. Let's go the 9,000th image, or 9,000th index. Good Lord. I wonder what type of dog that is. What an absolute beast. We can find out probably. Let's go here. Labels, CSV, ID, 9,000. Oh, no, we want breed. That thing looks savage. Look at the size of that chain. Tibetan Mastiff. That even sounds like a tough dog. I want one of them. That's a beast. That's like a dog Hercules would have. Okay. Now we've got all of our file names that are correct. What we're going to have to do, so we've got the file names. Now we need to work with our labels. We need to get our labels in a format that we can use. So let's do that in the next video.